Words were quickly thrown around as the human disappeared into nothingness, as their ghostly ethereal visage had disappeared as quickly as it had manifested. Words such as the chosen were most common. Worryingly, words such as the blighted, or its variants, the tainted, were also distressingly present. It did not take long before the chiefs of the major tribes convened where the human's ghostly visage had once stood. Their ultrasonic murmurs caused those of their respective tribes to agitate the water around them with their own murmurings and whispers. This soon caused the local waters to glow a ghostly blue, eerily similar to the human's projected visage, but of course nothing we hadn't seen before. This was the Callaway. It was rare, requiring 3 to 4 tribes worth of people to summon, but it wasn't unheard of. It happens when our ultrasonic hums and whispers become too loud, too noisy, agitating the waters around us, causing the luminous jellies too small for the eye to see to glow in pain and panic. It was a reminder for us to stay silent, lest we attract the unwanted attention of larger predators. I, however, used this distraction to quickly don this strange pelt in a hastening panic. While the crowd refused to halt their panics, while the others now began swimming towards them in an attempt to halt the Callaway, I had begun tugging, pulling, twisting this way and that, in an attempt to get the infernal pelt on. After a certain point, though, it seemed to spring to life and began creeping up my form, all the way up to my face and snout. I panicked, but only because I could feel the face pelt sealing tight around my head fins and snout, compressing and packing against my gills. I began to thrash, similar to how the human did all those years ago, as the water around me began to grow stale, until suddenly I felt the rush of water against my gills again. I stood still, yet I felt as if the water was moving freely through my gills, as if I was swimming at full speeds. My whole body felt energized, my mind felt as if it was ready to enter hunter's instinct. Whatever this pelt was doing, it was pushing new water through my gills without me moving. It wasn't as foreign a sensation as most would believe, however. To the reef dwellers who live their whole lives in the corals, yes, it would certainly be something unheard of. But to us hunters, there were ocean currents that were very similar to this sensation. Currents that cycled water through one's gills, allowing one to stay completely motionless without fear of suffocating in stale water. I floated still in the water because of this, which attracted even more attention than my suiting, or even the lights of the Callaway. Everyone else was swimming, and yet here I was, completely still and motionless, dead in the water. Many came to my aid almost immediately, fearing for my survival, believing me to have died suddenly because of the alien pelt. But I quickly reassured them that I was fine. They couldn't believe it, however, as many pointed out how similar I looked to the mythical Metal or Yelan, ancient myths of Valayans who were neither alive nor dead. Their signature trait was that they would stay completely still regardless of the ocean current around them, defying the conventions of the living and taunting the conventions of the dead. The tribal elders gathered around me to inspect me in this new pelt, poking, prodding, some even attempting to tear it off of me, but it did not relent. "Selranaya, Hunter, speak to us." "Yes, Elder. Are you still alive?" "Very much so, but we no longer feel your scales. Your skin is as smooth as a dead talwalk." "Elder, I don't know how to explain this to you, but I am very much still flesh and scale underneath. This pelt is just covering me." "And this pelt is for what exactly, Selranaya?" "For me to breach the Alway, to meet the human," I said simply, proudly, confidently. To this end, it would seem their decision was made. There seemed to be no way of getting me out of this anyways, so perhaps this was the only way of getting that done as well. I guess some would see my new mission as a way to break out of my new prison skin. Most, however, saw my lack of motion, my stoicism, my devotion to this mission, and simply thought of me as a messenger for the divine. Many more would remain undecided as they began to scatter away, perhaps in an attempt to get back to their lives before more mind-shattering occurrences were witnessed. The elder of my own tribe, my own grandmother, approached me, placing a hand against my cheek, which I could not feel, bringing me to silently whimper as I realized the true gravity of the situation. "Go forth, then, my child. Go and discover the truths behind this unnatural growth. Go forth and undo this, and return safe. May the waters protect you. May the currents see you through your journey." I knew my own foolishness had brought me to this point, but I could not go back now. As a hunter, I knew I must seek out the truth. I knew I needed to remain strong for the sake of the tribe. As for myself, I knew I had to go out there, to breach Alway, and to go beyond our limits, accomplishing the dreams of so many thousands that came before me. The strange fish ushered me towards a long, tubular structure. It swam back and forth between me and an opening that was quickly increasing in size, to the point where I could easily fit in. The cavern that the opening had led to was small, cramped, and to be perfectly honest, it took everything in my power to force myself to even consider entering it. It didn't take stories or tales to teach a minnow the fear of small, cramped spaces. The spaces you could so easily misjudge when cave diving. The spaces you could so easily find yourself lost, weighed, and trapped in without any hope of escape or help. Small spaces meant assured death. But this space, it was different. I knew it was different. It wasn't here a few seasons ago for ancestors' sake. Old rules no longer applied, not even ones ruled by instinct. So I took the plunge, swimming headfirst into the space before turning around to wave my family and friends goodbye. Hopefully not for the last time. "I never caught your name," a voice sounded, causing me to panic and almost leave the confines of the space. "Oh shit, sorry. I'm the human you saved. Alright, let's start over. I don't think... Okay, no, wait. Just let me think. Where the fuck do I begin? Okay. So first thing, I'm talking to you through this drone here." I quickly turned my head around, only to be met with the same strange creature from earlier, the one that handed me the strange body-covering pelt. "You are... a fish?" I asked bluntly, leading the fish to utter a series of noises that I could not discern. "No, I'm the same human you saved from earlier, except I'm talking to you through this drone, fish." "Ah, like a copedal," I stated plainly, nodding in understanding. "A what now?" "A copedal. It's a form of hive entity. It resembles a school of prey fish, each fish swimming independently and capable of normal activity. However, within the tightly packed pod there is a rock-like creature that is the true entity in control of the fish. They can also talk through their fish to other creatures capable of understanding speech, such as us, the Valayans." "Ah, well, I guess. But... okay, sure, let's go with that for now. I'll explain everything when you get up here." I tensed as the opening before me sealed shut, allowing no light in, yet still being brightly lit. It seemed to have these strange long tubes of light that encircled the whole egg-shaped cavern. It was similar to the luminous plants we kept in our caverns for light, and glowed evenly without the slight changes in color and intensity we'd see from our plants. This whole place was bizarre and wrong, but I knew I had to brave it. I knew I had to get to the surface, to breach the alleyway, to see the sun with my own eyes without fear. The logistics required to get a waterborne creature out and into dry land was proving to be far more difficult than she would have liked it to be. But a requisition is a requisition. It was well within her rights as a citizen of United Earth to put in a request for anything within reason. This was the nature of citizenship and the rewards of service. It was an expected part of being human in the 32nd century. It was also well within her rights to refuse the offer for recommission and active frontline service, something that was a major point of contention, as the date for the final offer was fast approaching. "Commander, are you sure about this decision?" "I am. An officer of your talents, your skill sets, your ambitions, relegated to a middling sector? What about it, Altus? I wasn't expecting this from you of all people, ma'am." "I guess my years of service have caught up to me. That, or maybe I need a break from it all." "And this has nothing to do with the fish?" "They're called Valayans." "Right, Valayans. And no, it isn't because of them, or the one Valayan in particular. It's time for me to take a breather, Altus. It's time for me to allow the next generation of younger and braver commanders to take the field." She would chuckle slightly. "Wouldn't want to hog all the fun before this little conflict's over, right?" There was a pause, one that Altus understood was a sign of the commander's internal dialogue spooling up. It was her way of introspection, and the AI accepted it. Mankind's only true form of currency is that of the unique experience. That's what they say, right? It's what got me into the military. What got me out here. I've had my fair share of unique experiences. The adrenaline rushes no longer interest me. Perhaps the next big experience is one that I can share with these aliens. Maybe I need a change of perspective. Listen, I'll see how this meeting with the Valayan pans out. But if it does go as well as I think it will, I think you can consider me officially removed from the front lines." With that, the AI vanished from view, as the commander would look down at the planet from up above, the space elevator taking her down with incredible speed, as the inky darkness of space soon transitioned into the bluish skies of Q1C22S129P03. I floated in contemplation, in an actual proper meditation for the first time in my life. It just felt so strange to be able to sit so still, so static, and yet still be alive. not only alive, but to feel so energized by the water rushing through my gills. Though after a while I could feel the movement of the pod itself. I noticed that a sensation of movement had come to a halt, and with that came another warning from the fish. I just need to tell you now, once I open these doors, you're not going to be able to stand up. I understood that, up until it said stand up. Stand up? Yes, like, on your fins. Oh wait, fuck, okay, let me rephrase that. You can't swim in air, alright? Yes, that is what I had assumed. Okay, good. Well, beyond that, you can't really stand on the ground either. I don't understand what you mean by stand. Okay, so you know you can float and remain still in water, correct? Yes. The air is less dense, less thick than the water. So when you come out and are exposed to the air, you will fall down onto the ground and you will be unable to float anymore. I believe I experienced that 22 years ago when I was forcibly removed from the waters, yes. Alright, well, please understand that I will be in there when the door opens, and I will help prop you up, so don't be alarmed. I just wanted to get that out of the way first, alright? A small silence punctuated the waters. Then to my horror I realized. To the oceans I was a Valayan, a proud, majestic being shaped after the gods themselves. But in the air, on this land above the waters, I would be but a lowly bottom-dwelling crustacean, the lowest of the low, the most undignified of creatures, forced to crawl instead of float or swim. This made my fins stand up on end as I rethought everything, and then realized. The old rules no longer apply up here. I had to remind myself that over and over again. No sea creature had ever come up on land, so just being up here meant I was above the sharks and apex predators of the deep. I wasn't just a Valayan now, I was... Well, no, perhaps I shouldn't go that far with my ego. Hello? Hello? You alright in there? You've been silent for a good 5 minutes now. Sorry, I was in deep contemplation. Alright. So I have to make sure. Are you okay with this? Do I have your permission to open the doors? Yes. Do I have your permission to help prop you up? Yes. Okay, don't panic, alright? Doors in 3, 2... Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Everything I use is in the description below. If you have a story you'd like to hear narrated, please let me know and I'll contact the author and we'll see if we can make that happen. Thanks again for watching. It's a scary world out there, but remember to look up and seek the stars.